Everyone, I am so sorry to report a bad update. A bad update. I know people are like, Luke, you're too negative. Baby, Luke, stop. You're too negative. I understand. Sometimes we gotta talk about bad stuff. You know, we talk about good stuff. I've been loving the altars. Dune Awakening is really solid. Borderlands 4, when I played it, also really solid. Like, there's plenty of good things going on in the industry, but when there's something bad, we have to discuss it. Okay? I'm gonna set this up. Follow me as I guide you through this story. Remember, we talked about just a handful of weeks ago some information from Tom Henderson. And when he was discussing this, it was in the context of the state of play that was going to happen from Sony. That state of play ended up being, in my opinion, kind of underwhelming. They did that weird fake out with Ghost of Yote where they showed part of it. And they're like, for the actual thing, come back in July. It was very weird. Like, why even be here if you're not going to show it? Anyway, that's a separate... It was stupid. And I understand there were a lot of people who especially love like Japanese developed games. There were games for you there. If you like fighting games, there's a cool Marvel game there. I get it. I thought the state of play in general was kind of underwhelming. That being said, one of the things we expected to be there that was totally absent was a rumored God of War spin-off game. Okay. What am I referring to? Well, Tom Henderson was asked by Gamer Up, hey Tom, we will see the rumored, I'm guessing will we see the rumored God of War spinoff in this show? I remembered you mentioned it a little bit about God of War returning to the Greek saga. And then Jeff Grubb talking a little bit about God of War spinoff as well, and rumors of it being Metroidvania. Now, we had talked about this prior, but a handful of months ago, the leaks were suggesting that this spinoff God of War game was going to be a smaller project, think Miles Morales, Lost Legacy, something like that. And it was going to discuss and cover Kratos' early years, his relationship perhaps with his father or a father figure, early days as a warrior, learning how to fight and things like that. That's what was expected. Now, the rumors are suggesting much more heavily that it is actually closer to like Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown from Ubisoft last year. So it's like a 2D, 2.5D Metroidvania platforming combat game. Okay. Tom replied to this tweet and said, hearing a lot of scuttlebutt. Whoops. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Hearing a lot of scuttlebutt about the 2.5D Metroidvania game or whatever it will be. Yeah. Seems to be much smaller in scale than what I initially thought. And Gamer Up said, nice, as a longtime fan of God of War, in my opinion, is really good to see big PlayStation IPs, if this rumor is true, having different games of different genres. Just look at Pokemon, Mario, lots of different types of spin-offs aside main games. It's true. They're experimenting with it a lot. But the expectation is that this is a much smaller spin-off game. So don't think about like Miles Morales. Don't think Lost Legacy anymore. Think of something even smaller. Okay? Now, I don't think this is bad. As I've said, I think that this still could be really good. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown was, and still is, like one of the highest rated things from critics and players alike that Ubisoft has put out in like a decade. It's a very good game. If you have not played Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, it's genuinely a very good game, and I highly recommend it. It is a good game. It's, it triggers some people when you say a Ubisoft game is good, but no, it genuinely is very good. And I think if they are doing a God of War style game in the same format, it could be really good. But I hear you're barking, big dog. I hear you. Luke, why are we talking about this? We already talked about this. Well, because there is an update. Jeff Grubb is now suggesting that the game may have been pushed to 2026. So we were originally expecting it to release in like November. Now it's sounding like it's getting booted back to like, I don't know, maybe early next year, maybe later next year. We just don't know. It could have something to do with the marathon delay. Maybe it's that Sony wanted to just give more games time to bake in the oven. It could be all sorts of things. I'm not totally sure. But either way, I think this is maybe for the best. I mean, if it takes more time to get it put together and then it ends up being even better than it would have been otherwise, I'm down. But I just want to be clear, people are seeing this and being like, oh, so that's the next saga. No, I don't think so. I think this is that 2.5D Metroidvania game. I think that there is a new trilogy or duology I think is the term. Pair, I don't, whatever. There is a new setting that is being produced. I'm hoping it's Egypt. Fingers crossed, because I'm an Egypt fanboy, but time will tell. And I think we see that maybe right at the end of the generation, and they're going to do like a cross-gen thing and maximize copies sold that way. That's what I'm expecting. But I do think we'll see something else God of War related before that, and it's going to be this 2.5D game. It sounds like that 2.5D game is being produced by Santa Monica Studio. It's possible it's also being built out by one of the sister studios that we've talked about and covered before that's just working on mystery projects. We don't really know, but we'll see. I hope the next setting is 1980s Los Angeles. Dude, can you imagine Kratos marching around in aviators driving like one of those old cop sedans and smoking a cigarette? Honestly, that sounds pretty good. I'd be down for that. Anyway, I just wanted to cover that because I've seen this getting shoved around. People are like, whoa, they were way ahead of schedule. We're going to get a new God of War game next year. That's great. That Ghost of Yote, Wolverine, we're going to be eating good. And fam, expectations lower, because once more, if you have low expectations and the game ends up being up here, you're having an even better time than the guy that was expecting it to be here. And then it's like, oh, it's a little bit better than I was expecting. If your expectations are down here and then it blows you away, it's way more exciting. And then also, if it ends up being underwhelming because your expectations were low, it's not that devastating, okay? There's people that have had crises of self because they were hyped for a game and it ends up being a poopy and they don't know how to handle themselves. Like, they don't know what to do. It's because they let their expectations, they let their hype get out of control because they forgot the gospel truth, which is that hype makes you stupid. So keep your hype in check. In the meantime, I still think that this will be really good. I'm still excited to see what they've been working on. And frankly, if we get more games in these IP, as was suggested by GamerUp, that are smaller in scope, cheaper to produce, theoretically faster to pump out, and they give us new like little spin-off stories within these IP, that could be a really fun way to get more content. And I'm okay with that. I'm open to it, you know? Yeah, ask Starfield fans. Exactly. Exactly. What an appropriate name. It's Mr. Fanboy. That's great. Yeah, it'll go head to head with GTA 6. No, let's be real. That they're going to put the Horizon game right next to GTA 6 because it's Herman, and Herman is delusional with Horizon, in my opinion. But anyway, just wanted to get that out of the way. Wolverine better get a trailer before 2026. I don't think it's getting one before 2026. I think Wolverine is like 27, 28. I think it's further away than we realize. Personally, I think so. Seemed like Herman was also kind of delusional when it came to Marathon and Concord and buying Bungie for $3.7 billion. Dollars. Yeah, I think there's a good amount of things that he's been a little delulu with, in my opinion. Yeah, he seems a little out of touch. You know,